It's your draft day and you're staring at a couple names on the screen and you don't know which one to choose. Let's talk about some tough draft day decisions for some running backs. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today we're talking about some draft day decisions, some tough ones for running backs. I've been getting a lot of questions about a few of these names, so I figured I'd make a video about it. We've done this in the past with some wide receivers and running backs, but I figured I'd throw some more names out there, do a few more early names, because some of these decisions are harder in the earlier rounds. Before I get into these duos, though, real quick, head over to the RotoBaller channel after this video is done. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button with the notification. This is something you don't want to miss. And the season's right around the corner. Week 1 is September 9th. We're going to be doing our live pregame shows 1 hour before kickoff. Last-minute roster advice, waiver advice, injury updates, weather updates, whatever it is, it's coming over there at the RotoBaller channel every Sunday once the season starts. And also, real quick, I know you guys like these videos to be short, quick, to the point. I see a lot of comments like that, and I appreciate the feedback. Trying to keep it that way for you guys, but I'm trying to do it without getting a ton of advertising and a ton of ads. So your boy needs a little bit of support. I got my Patreon account linked down below in the description. Make sure you're helping out as much as you can. The show needs to continue to grow. I'm trying to get you guys this content as quick as possible without you having to listen to a whole bunch of ads. Make sure you check that out. I'd greatly appreciate it. But for now, let's talk about some tough draft day decisions for some running backs. So you're sitting there at the beginning of your draft, and you don't know who you should take. You want Ezekiel Elliott or Todd Gurley? And it's kind of a toss-up, right? There's going to be people out there saying they like Zeke better. There's going to be people out there saying they like Gurley better. Both have a tough strength of schedule. Both have top 10 offensive lines. But I can see the Rams with more second-half leads. And this is just something I'm throwing out there. I don't know this. But if the Rams have huge second-half leads, what are the chances that maybe they throw John Kelly in for a fourth quarter, and that just kind of limits the amount of production that Todd Gurley can get? Now, yes, I get it. By that point, Todd Gurley may already have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. But what if he doesn't? What if John Kelly starts to take some of these late-game touches, and it just hurts Gurley's value? It's a possibility. Zeke's averaged 24 carries and 4 targets a game. Gurley averages around 19 carries and 6 targets a game. So that's, 28 to 25. Both of them are over 20 touches a game, which is great. To me, though, Zeke has that 300 to 350-plus carries and takes a huge step forward in the passing game this year. They don't have a whole lot of big-name weapons in Dallas, right? That's what you guys keep saying is Dak can't be good because he doesn't have a stud wide receiver. I think some of you guys are going to be a little surprised on that. Those receivers are a little bit better than they're getting credit for, but Zeke is going to touch the ball an insane amount of times this year, and now that he'll be more included in the passing game, if I had to decide on draft day, I'm choosing Zeke Elliott over Todd Gurley. Let's talk about Kareem Hunt and Melvin Gordon. I'm sure you guys know that I don't want anything to do to Kareem Hunt, but there's some people out there who still believe that he can have a huge year and are making this decision. So here's my take on it, and I'm going to try to be as biased as possible. Now, Kareem Hunt has the 18th ranked offensive line. Melvin Gordon has the 23rd ranked offensive line, so neither are in the upper echelon of the NFL. I get it. Hunt does have a slightly stronger schedule than Melvin does. One thing I like about Melvin, though, and I'm not just saying this because I don't like Kareem Hunt, that's a great defense in LA for the Chargers. And if they can, hold opponents to low-scoring games, Melvin Gordon could be somebody that gets a lot of those late touches in games. Kind of like we were talking about with Todd Gurley. Maybe, John Kelly comes in. It's a possibility. I don't see a whole lot of options there in LA that are going to take away carries from Melvin Gordon. Austin Eckler is there, but he's going to be more, involved in the passing game. Melvin's going to be leaned on a lot this year. He's got the 8th ranked strength of schedule. He's got nobody to take away his goal line touches. We've seen it with Kareem Hunt before, with Charkandrick West come in and get, a sneaky goal line touchdown. Spencer Ware comes back this year, and I think people are not giving him credit yet for what he could take away from Kareem Hunt. They both have first-round ADPs, but being that the Chargers have that elite defense, and I can see a lot more second-half running happening with the Chargers, I'm leaning Melvin Gordon, which I know is no shock to you guys. I just think he's the safer bet. Next up, let's talk about Christian McCaffrey or Devonta Freeman. A few weeks ago, I don't think this was even close for me. I would have said Freeman and just kept on going with the video, but then all the coach speak happened where they talked about McCaffrey coming out and getting 25 to 30 touches a game. I didn't believe it. And now we're a few preseason games in, and Christian McCaffrey looks like a stud running back here in the NFL. And now I'm starting to have to adjust things a little bit because it may not have been all coach speak. Christian McCaffrey's looked great. Devonta Freeman, we kind of know what we're getting with him, right? But Christian McCaffrey's preseason has been great. Maybe he can handle that huge workload. I can't see it being for all 16 games. They brought in C.J. Anderson, who's going to take some carries. They do not want to beat up and kill Christian McCaffrey here in the first few weeks. C.J. Anderson's still going to be involved, regardless of what he's doing right now in the preseason. Listen, he just came to the team a few weeks ago. He's still learning the playbook. He's still understanding the playbook and his blocking assignments. He's going to play in Carolina. His role may not be as big as I thought it was going to be, but he's still going to play. The one issue I have with McCaffrey is, does DJ Moore or Curtis Samuel, do any of those guys eat into his production in the passing game? That's what makes Christian McCaffrey so valuable, is his pass catching ability. If he loses some of that to some of these guys, his value could slightly take a hit. Same thing with Devonta Freeman, though. Tevin Coleman is there. Tevin Coleman's in a contract year. More than likely, they're not going to re-sign Tevin Coleman. So at time, do the Falcons ride Coleman just to keep Freeman fresh? They know Freeman's staying there for the long run. Maybe they don't want to beat him up. Maybe they'd rather beat up Tevin Coleman, send him on his way next year, and not have to worry about it. I don't know that. I do know Tevin Coleman will be involved in Atlanta. He always has been. He always will be as long as he's there. If he goes to another team, say they trade him midseason, he almost instantly becomes an RB1 in the right situation. Devonta Freeman's only played 16 games once in his entire career. And last year he only averaged 2.6 receptions per game, which is down from his career average. Freeman does have the third-ranked offensive line in football, where McCaffrey does not. I mean, they're, I believe, right in the late teens here in Carolina. But that upside for McCaffrey is huge. If I had to choose one right now, their current ADPs are close. McCaffrey at 17, Freeman at 19. If I'm in a full PPR league, I'm going Christian McCaffrey. If it's not a full PPR league and it's half point or standard, give me Devonta Freeman here on draft day. Let's talk about a couple rookies now. Let's talk about Rashad Penny and Ronald Jones III. Penny's current ADP is 52nd and Rojo's is 57th. So they're right there close to each other, right there in the 5th, 6th round, depending on league size. But they're both still fighting for their job, right? Penny's already dealing with a hand injury, just had surgery. Looks like he's going to be okay for week 1, but he's going to miss the rest of the preseason. Chris Carson has already started to take over that job, though. Ronald Jones can't beat out Peyton Barber, which to me is not too surprising. Haven't really been on the Rojo bandwagon since he went to Tampa Bay. Both are playing behind, below average offensive lines. I think it really does hurt Penny's value, being that he's missing this preseason. I think he needed those added snaps with the first team in order to get ready for the regular season. He's going to be playing catch up from week 1, and Chris Carson has looked above average here in the preseason. However, both are going to end up with this job. Don't get me wrong. I like Chris Carson. I like Peyton Barber. But Rashad Penny and Ronald Jones will start at some point for this season for their respective teams, because their teams spent too much money on draft day in order, to not use them. They're going to have to use them based off of where they took them. They invested too much in these guys, so let's let them be beat out by a couple undrafted players. It's not going to happen. Both have below average defenses where their teams could be throwing a lot in the fourth quarter. Not a whole lot of upside, in my opinion, for either of them. I'm personally avoiding both of them on draft day, but if I had to choose one, I'm going with Rashad Penny. I think if he gets the full workload in Seattle, he's got a better chance at goal line touchdowns and opportunities than Ronald Jones would have in Tampa Bay. Let's talk about another rookie running back. Let's talk about Royce Freeman or Lamar Miller. Which one do you choose? Right now, Royce Freeman's 53rd overall. Lamar Miller's 48th overall. So 4th, 5th round, depending on your league size. But Freeman has yet to win the job in Denver. Now, yes, it looks like he's going to win it, and easily. However, he hasn't been named the starter yet. He does have 3-down upside, though. If he does get named that starter, he could potentially be a bell cow workhorse running back for the Denver Broncos, who we've talked about before, have a lot of weapons on the outside to keep defenders out of the box. So that could be a great situation once he's named the starter, which looking like it could be by week 1. Something to keep an eye on for sure. Miller, though, he's running behind the worst-ranked offensive line in football, but he's not as bad as people think he is. I mean, he's averaged 900 yards and 6 touchdowns over the past 2 years with Houston. It just wasn't good looking. It was just It was not like, oh yeah, he had a great game. He didn't really have a whole lot of great games. He just had an overall decent season, a running back 2 season. That's what you need to expect from Lamar Miller. Freeman's looked great in the preseason though. Royce Freeman, he's already averaging over 5 yards a carry. But Donta Foreman's not in Houston either, so Lamar Miller doesn't have a whole lot of competition to start off the year. So which one do you choose? It's a little bit harder. If you need production right away and you're drafting right now, Lamar Miller is your guy just because you know he's going to be the week 1 starter. If this is your running back 3 or any deeper, and you haven't drafted yet, Royce Freeman is a great option. He's somebody you could take as your running back 3, maybe even 4, depending on how heavy you go at running back. And you could potentially have a bell cow workhorse running back on your bench ready to go by week 1. Love the upside of Royce Freeman. Give me Royce all day long. All right, so there's a few tough draft day decisions for the running back position, but I could have done a ton more, but I'm trying to keep the videos short for you guys. If you're having some decisions on draft day or even while you're mock drafting and you don't know which way to go, hit me up down below in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to try to help you figure out that decision, maybe make it a little bit easier for you. So once you're there on the clock, you know who you're going to go ahead and take. Really appreciate the support, though. Channel's still growing like crazy. That's because of you guys. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing. Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.